in the retail sector. Global sports giant Decathlon plans to invest 100 million euros in India over a 5-year period. This is to expand its store network to reach 190 stores across India. They're also going to be upping its digital engagement and source more made-in-India goods. The stage is set for a new era of growth fueled by recent reforms and strategic initiatives of the government. As India's manufacturing sector, contributing 17% to GDP, has been positioned as the 6th largest manufacturing economy. Adobe India Managing Director has said that India is a high-performing market for Adobe in Asia-Pacific region and it's among the fastest growing globally, adding that momentum on productivity, creativity and personalization are driving digital opportunities across new sectors. On to our top focus now. For the last 2 weeks, the rape and murder of a 31-year-old junior doctor in Kolkata's RG Kar College has caught the attention of the country. It has shaken our conscience to the core, and details that are gory, that will shock you, tumble out every single day. It makes you face these harsh realities we live in. Today, the Supreme Court once again was hearing the case, and it came down heavily on the Bengal police. Kapil Sibal, the counsel for the state government, was seen floundering for answers when pointed questions were put forth by the CJI-led bench. All this while the TMC has patted the back of the Kolkata police for its swift action. But at this point, nobody seems to be convinced of that. Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud questioned the delay in registering an FIR, quoting the state government's counsel back to him to highlight the discrepancies in the investigation in the initial 12 hours. We'll get you those details in just a bit, but the anger and the aftershocks of this incident are being widely felt by the TMC. The BJP hit the streets in protest against the ruling government. They demanded Mamata Banerjee's resignation. Doctors, students, eminent citizens have all come together with one outcry: justice for this victim. Now, in the backdrop of all that, Mamata Banerjee, the West Bengal Chief Minister, has also written a letter to the Prime Minister. She has stressed that the centre should come up with a law in which the culprit gets punishment within 15 days. Is this an attempt by the TMC Supremo to turn the attention from RG Kar to a larger malice that we're dealing with? Well, even if that is the case, we do need the reform for an entire system to address these systematic failures. It is a crucial demand. We need that to be addressed. But in this instance, shouldn't the TMC address questions its police and its governance faces? Let's begin by what happened in the Supreme Court today. The questions to the state government echoed the concerns of the victims' parents that were raised in the Supreme Court by the CJI bench, the protesting doctors and all those who have been raising their voice. The CJI-led bench posed these strong questions. These are the observations that came to the fore in that hearing. Why was the diary entry of an unnatural death made at 10:10 a.m. on the 9th of this month, but the FIR was only filed at 11:45 p.m. That was one pointed question that was asked by the CJI to Kapil Sibal, who was representing the state government. The demarcation of the crime scene, why was that delayed? This aspect is very, very disturbing, is what the court observed, that despite at 10:10 a.m. an unnatural death case being registered, a post-mortem being conducted, the crime scene was only secured much later. We haven't seen this procedure by cops in 30 years. How does this work, is what one of the judges opined. They also then went on to say that who was the principal, now the ex-principal of RG Kar, who was he in touch with? Who was he protecting? Why did he not go to the police? Why did he not file the FIR? That's a question the court asked as well. How was this principal then given charge of another college? How did that happen? That's a question that was posed to the state government as well by the court. Now, during the hearing today, the most riveting aspect was the sequence of events that had been a matter of much speculation. The Supreme Court highlighted the loopholes in the investigation by the state police. After going through the CBI status report, the Supreme Court cited that the unnatural death entry was made at 10:10 a.m. on the morning of August 9th, like I just pointed out. The inquest Panchnama mentions that it was a case of unnatural death and that was made out around 4:20 p.m. Now, the CJI-led bench was asking these questions to the West Bengal Police's, the Kolkata Police's counsel as to when exactly these timings were made, and that's exactly how these loopholes and discrepancies came to the fore. When asked when the post-mortem was conducted, Kapil Sibal said the post-mortem was done between 6:10 to 7:10 p.m. that evening, which is the 9th of August. At 11:30 p.m. is when the policeman in charge went back to the police station and unnatural death case was made out. At 11:45 p.m. is what the CBI says that the FIR in the case was registered. So at 10:10 a.m., when there was a diary noting that said this was a case of unnatural death, the fact that a post-mortem was conducted because it was an unnatural death, why was an FIR not registered? That's a question that was asked in court today. Now, many would say that the TMC is defending the indefensible when they pat the back of the Kolkata police. Can the party and the state government deny some of these glaring details? The fact that the hospital did not file an FIR, it was filed on the victim's parents' insistence. That's something that came up in court today as well. The unnatural death diary entry that was made, but there was no FIR registered. Why so? Can somebody answer that? In fact, those answers were not found in the hearing today, which is why on September 5th, when the Supreme Court will hear the case next, today the CJI said that the next time we hear this case, please get a policeman who will know these details and these exact timings. The crime scene was not secured until after the post-mortem was done. The RG Corps ex-principal now was rehabilitated by the state. He also has an OSD rank. Why then are these leeways being made? We have the CBI now investigating the case. For 7 straight days, the CBI has been looking at other people that may or may not have been involved, their role, including the ex-principal. But what has the CBI done in the last 1 week? Well, the CBI today in court said that by the time we were given the case, everything seemed to have been altered. We're not looking at the actual facts of the case while we're working with. Is that defense enough for the CBI to take off heat from themselves either? We'll take those questions to our guests in just a bit.
पहला दिन के हियरिंग के बाद हम लोग को यही आशा था कि एटलीस्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर के बाद हमारे यहाँ पे सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न बढ़ेगा, यहाँ पे CISF डिप्लॉयमेंट होगा। सुप्रीम कोर्ट की हियरिंग के 2 दिन बाद आज सुबह को CISF डिप्लॉयमेंट यहाँ पे हो रहा है।
बीजेपी लड़ रहा है, जस्टिस मिलना चाहिए और ममता बनर्जी को तुरंत इस्तीफा दे देना चाहिए।
Let me open this up. Dr. Shashi Panja, Minister for Women and Child Development and Social Welfare at the Government of West Bengal, joins us. Spokesperson of the BJP, Anila Singh. Nazrul Islam, former ADG, West Bengal Police. And Dr. Manish Jangra, Chief Advisor and founder of FAIMA, an organization that represents several medical representatives, several doctors in this country, joins us on this broadcast. But let me begin by asking Dr. Shashi Panja on this. You know, the kind of allegations, the kind of observations rather, that came to the fore from the Supreme Court. Many would say that the TMC is trying to defend the indefensible. How would you respond?
Good evening and good evening to everybody. Now, ma'am, I have in hand, and perhaps you too also have, the 10-page order of the Chief Justice of India on the hearing today. So, if we go through that, things are very clear. Now, there is one thing, and that is you have mentioned, thank you for mentioning about the Chief Minister's letter to the Honorable Prime Minister of India. Because there is a very important observation there too. We are not defending anything. It's just that within these 10 or 12 days that we are discussing, there have been 90 rapes reported daily. 4 every hour and 1 every 15 minutes. So we are in a situation where, first of all, there should be no politics over it, because you cannot say your rape and my rape and tera rape or mera rape. This is not the situation. And the 10-page order also, as you mentioned, including the National Trust for the Task Force, and also there were concerns of the 19 stakeholders who also participated regarding the peaceful protests of the doctors, and how the CGI also mentioned that it would be good if the doctors could go back to work, and that no coercive action should be taken against them, etc., etc. Yes, there was a verbal observation of one of the honorable judges regarding, as you mentioned, about but that's not reflected in the order. Now, it is very unfortunate. There are two very important things which was again mentioned by the Standing Council on behalf of the state of West Bengal, and one is this, that there are certain reports in the social media and the otherwise media which has kind of escalated the situation in another direction. We are still waiting for the culprits to be arrested. So what the state government was submitting through the council was that when the Kolkata police handled the case, there was an arrest which was made within the first 24 hours, within the first 12 hours. Having said that, and the post-mortem report reveals or indicates that there are many more, we are also waiting. What did the Chief Minister ask in the very beginning is also reflected in what the Supreme Court is saying. We too are asking for justice. We too are asking that there should be no delay in arrest of further culprits. We are also asking for death penalty, the strictest of punishment. That is what Chief Minister has been asking from the very beginning, and that there should be justice. And that is what even Supreme Court Honorable CJI reflected, and the matter will again be taken up. He also mentioned that I have the post-mortem report in my hand. You see, it's so unfortunate. How did the post-mortem so-called such findings come out even before it was officially given? So he said, I have it in hand, and do not argue on basis of social media and things appearing in the media.
Sure.
I have the report in hand. I think these were very important. Kapil Sibal, the Standing Council of the State Government of India, did mention about the timelines. He has mentioned about the timelines, and since you have raised one, I just am highlighting that we are not defending anything. We are just saying that, and these are technical issues which I think the lawyers and the police understand better than us. And the GDE 576/2024 was recorded in that local police thana at 10:10 a.m. And then the Kolkata police proceeded to register the UD case, the unnatural death case, by 1:45 p.m. is what Kapil Sibal has submitted under UD case number 861 of 2024. And then to say that if there is a post-mortem, when there is an unnatural death, of course there has to be a post-mortem, because it's only the post-mortem which will establish the nature, whether it's homicide or suicide, etc.
Then why was that FIR on an unnatural death case not filed?
And yes, again a technical issue, ma'am, in which he has mentioned very clearly that and he took the bench through these relevant rules of the police regulation of Kolkata, 1968, and also mentioned the Gazette notification 2018 dated 15 January, which gives a detailed procedure and guidelines that needs to be followed by the state police with immediate effect relating to an unnatural death case. And he added that this unnatural death case is in the same format as that of an FIR, and it is treated with that same purpose. And then, of course, as you said, there was an
but then it was also said in court that the FIR was only filed on the parents' instance. Kapil Sibal also in this hearing, in the course of this hearing, has said that the parents, that the delay was there for 3 hours or so, or after the body was handed over to the parents, because the parents were not in any position to talk to the police or take this forward. And at the parents' insistence was the FIR finally registered. So then, which is it, that there was a technical issue, and which is why there was a 14-hour delay, or that there was an attempt to try and gloss it over, which is something that was hinted at during this course of hearing as well?
No, there is no attempt to gloss it over. This is not Badlapur, Maharashtra, or any of the other BJP governments. As we said, look at the records of the rapes which have been happening since then too. So it is okay. We are very open to this, to discuss. And even Chief Minister has said that she is in tune with the peaceful protest which is happening by the students, and she agrees that they should be protesting. True, the gruesome, the horrific incident which has taken place, we are not here to gloss over anything.
Sure.
But look at the order, the 10-page order which CGI has given. I think that will, you see, there may have been one or two verbal observations with regards to that, but you have to look at the order finally. And of course, 5th September, the police has also been told, because these are technical issues, that he should also be there to, with the Standing Council. So what we are aggrieved about is that we are all asking for justice, but if there are political parties who are politicizing the issue, that's the unfortunate fallout of it. So what
Sure,
does any party politically got
that's
to
not
do with
something,
this?
absolutely, and that's not something that should happen over a sensitive issue like this. Anila Singh, the Supreme Court may have asked the Kolkata police and the state government of the delay in filing the FIR, of why that was such. One judge even went on to say that, in my 30 years, I've never seen such a procedure like that, and it's bizarre some of the things that have happened. But the fact of the matter also is that the CBI has had this case for over a week now. For 7 straight days, they have investigated, interrogated one person who seems to be a suspect, or at least is in the vision of suspicion. But where has that gone?
My Ram to all, and just now I was listening to the minister from Bengal, and she is Minister for Women and Child Development, and very brazenly she is advocating for the Mamata Banerjee's government. Not for a moment I could see any sort of apathy towards the girl who was raped, who was tortured, who was murdered. She is sitting here and simply advocating for Mamata Banerjee's government, the Chief Minister who herself.
I'm not going to take
I don't think, Anila Singh, I don't think there was, Anila Singh, yes. Dr. Panja, let me come in here. Anila Singh, I don't think there was any apathy. Dr. Panja, give me 10 seconds, please. Anila Singh, I don't think there was any apathy right at the outset and toward her entire response. Dr. Panja made it clear that we stand with the victim, and that Mamata Banerjee has also hit the streets. The TMC and the state government believes that they've done everything by the law.
Poonamji, allow me.
Yes, go
when
ahead.
She was given all the time without any interruption.
Yes, please, go ahead.
I am representing my political party here, and just now, madam, she pointed towards the Bharatiya Janata Party government, wherever the Bharatiya Janata Party government is there, and she said, this is not Bharatiya Janata Party's government in Bengal, and we work differently. Ma'am, you're absolutely correct. It is your state where your government, under the nose and eyes and ears of your chief minister, your leaders, they rape poor women. Under the leadership under the governance of your leader, Mamata Banerjee, young doctor gets raped,
kind of a narrative?
And Ms. Panja, I did not interfere. And you should have some sort of patience.
No, you are not. This is a wild narrative. This is wild allegations. Please substantiate your allegations. You are trying to say that the state government is telling guys to go and rape her.
Dr. Panja,
discipline as well.
Okay, Dr. Panja and Anila Singh, let me please come in here. Dr. Panja, I will give you time to respond to her. Let her make her point. Let's keep this civil. And I would request everyone to keep this civil, please. Let's not try and call names, and I'm not saying this to any one particular person on the panel. Let's try and keep this civil, and let's stick to the subject at hand. Anila Singh, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Poonamji. And I hope Ms. Panja allows me to complete whatever I want to say here. I have to say one thing here. Ms. Banerjee has got all the time to give advice to Honorable Prime Minister Saha. She says these many rapes happen in India. Perhaps she doesn't know the facts and figures about the rapes in India. More than 70%, they simply go unreported. So in this nation, if I talk about, one rape happens in 16 minutes. More than 90% of the cases of sexual assault, they go unreported. So what facts and figures she is talking about? She has to look after the law and order situation of her state. Instead of advising Mr. Prime Minister, I think Ms. Chief Minister should see what is happening under her nose in her state. Women are not safe here. I will plead all the people, all the youth living in this nation who believe in Nari Shakti, who believe in women's security, they should step out of their homes, they should step out of their comfort zone, and they should raise their voice why this is happening. Why this is happening in the state which is being governed by a woman chief minister who is not showing any sort of sympathy towards the victim and her family. Immediately they went to the family and they offered money. And just see, everything became crystal clear in the Supreme Court. Today Supreme Court again asked that what was happening there. One of the judges, honorable judges, he said that he has not seen such unresponsible behavior of the police in 30 years of his career. Their advocate, Mr. Kapil Sibal, he was laughing in the court. Imagine. as if he is not discussing or debating or fighting a case for a woman. It was such irresponsible behavior, like the irresponsible governance of Miss Mamata Banerjee. I think whole of the West Bengal now knows at least that this woman chief minister does not stand anywhere when we talk about the governance. There is no law and order there.
Sure, Anila Singh, you can make all the allegations that you want against your political rivals, against the chief minister, but you still haven't answered the question I asked you. The questions that the BJP raises about the conduct of the West Bengal police and how they didn't act in time, those same allegations could be made against the CBI as well.
See, CBI has got its own way of working. When they were not able to handle the situation or the case was transferred to CBI. CBI is not going to give any conclusions in haste. You know it very well that investigation is on. Queries are on. Each and every day, all of the media platforms.
So the same yardsticks are not being applied. That's the criticism that's really coming in. But let me get in the other two gentlemen on the panel as well who've been patiently waiting. Nazrul Islam, the kind of observations that came to the fore specifically against the police and the police's conduct, do you think those observations were fair that were made by the CGI bench?
On the observations of the highest court, it is very clear, and it was known earlier also, that the college and police authority from the very beginning were trying to cover up the case and shield the criminals. I am giving examples, so I am saying so. The parents of the victim were informed first that their daughter is ill. Then they are given the information that daughter has committed suicide. Just see. And when they reached the college and hospital, they were kept waiting from 3 hours before they can see the face of their daughter. If there was no activity of destroying the evidences, there is no ground that the parents could not be allowed to see the dead daughter. Just see, after the postmortem, the parents were there, but the dead body was not handed over to them. Police took the body to their native place, and the parents, they have said, were compelled to burn the body so that the second postmortem is not possible. An FIR was registered only after the burning of the body. Then come to the timeline you are discussing. The crime occurred at about 4. There is no doubt about it now. The college authority claims that they came to know about it at 9:30. And in 10:10, a GD was made in the police station to the effect that an unconscious body has been found in the seminar room. So RGK College, there is dearth of doctors. They cannot, they issue the death certificate. So they cannot say whether the victim is dead or she is unconscious. I think it was all deliberate attempt to derail the investigation and shield the criminals. And then the inquest was done on the UD case at 16:20 hours. I have seen the inquest. The injury stated there, the bleeding from private parts and other parts of the body. From there, no police officer should have. I worked in the Kolkata police for 7 years. I was DCDD who supervised the investigation all cases of Calcutta police. So I can tell that no police officer with proper training should have any doubt that it was a case of murder and rape. So there is no point in starting an EUD case separately. They should have started a criminal case directly. Then come to the postmortem. There was allegation against the principal of the college, and the postmortem was conducted in that very college. And the professor and associate professor of the forensic medicine of the very college conducted the PM report. There was every possibility of being influenced by the principal, because the person who is conducting the PM were working under him. Then come the EUD case was started at 23:30 hours, and the FIR was started at 23:45 hours. The crime occurred at 4 early in the morning, and even if it is taken as truth that college authority came to know about it 9:30, the FIR is being registered at dead of 9, quarter to 12. This clearly shows that there was a conspiracy to cover up the
Sure.
case.
Whether there was a conspiracy or an attempt to cover up, that's something that will be investigated. But Dr. Panja, would you at least concede that there are some things that are suspicious? 30 seconds before I get in Dr. Manish Jangra as well.
What I would, absolutely, ma'am, I would just want to reiterate that we are digressing from the main issue. And that is, where are the rest of the culprits? Which CBI, after taking the case, it's almost 10 days, ma'am.
Sure.
It's 10 days. None have, they could not catch anybody. One. Second is, it is these very technical issues of police, the case diary, which the honorable justices of the Supreme Court are looking into. We can continue to talk, I can continue to refute, you can continue to defend.
Sure.
Everything can be done. You see, if evidence has been destroyed, then the Supreme Court has to say it. Because the State Council has also submitted seizure lists, videography, etc. Everything has been done. But more importantly, about the principal, and we are not defending anybody. He is corrupt, let everything be proven. Let SIT has already been constituted. The principal is being, the former principal is being called for the last 6 days by CBI.
Sure.
Arrest him.
Sure. So
Why
that same
don't you
sort of
arrest
alacrity,
him if you know
sure. So the
something?
questions of alacrity should be asked of all agencies. I understand that. That's what I asked.
No, ma'am, and one thing. Ma'am, just one thing. No, what's one? Anila Singh, through wild allegations, accused us. We are absolutely like as if we have told people to go and rape and murder her. Why do you stand by Brij Bhushan Saran Singh, Viren Singh of Manipur? Why are you standing by
Okay, let's not digress. Also, let's not compare one crime to another. One crime or one rape is not bigger or smaller than the other. Let's not.
Many things.
Yes,
well,
but
she said Mamata Banerjee is supporting rape,
which is when I interrupted her as well, ma'am. But that's let's try and stick to the subject at hand. Dr. Manish Jangra, unfortunately, over the last 20 minutes, what you've heard seems to be all that's being spoken of. Is that what many within the FAIMA also believe? Many doctors do believe that the actual real cause somewhere seems to be getting lost.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thanks you to invite me to your channel. I'm Dr. Manish Jangra, based on the FAIMA. Basically, I would like to tell you one thing. If our organization would not have raised this issue in the Delhi or all over India, then this issue would have been of the suicide case only. And I am saying this, I am not saying this, the father of the girl is saying this, because there was huge mistakes by the Bengal police. I am not targeting any political party, and I am a political person, and our organization also a political. But I would like to tell you one thing. The police, even Supreme Court has directed all these things. The police has not played their duties well. So there were a lot of things that were trying to destroy it, and there were a lot of things that were trying to destroy later also. Like 14th August, there was mobs that entered into the campus and they tried to break every room, CCTV room, every area. Like they just tried to destroy every evidence they could have done before CBI was reaching next day actually. So I am just saying one thing. There seems to be some biggest conspiracy in this. Due to some unofficial sources that I'm getting some information, there is some son of some local party leader is there involved in this racket. Actually, he's also a doctor. Actually, according to me, unofficial sources, we are getting
but all
this
that
information
speculation,
from
sir, and let's not try and delve into realm of speculation.
I'm refraining all these things from myself, but
Yes.
still, there is a huge conspiracy. Actually, nobody want to speak anything. No student is able to speak anything because they are very afraid. But they message us personally everything what happened there, what is happening there, because this whole case was planned a few days ago only, because nobody knows what happened, how it has happened, and the person who was caught by the police, it seems to be scapegoat. So there are so many people are involved in this case. Police has not done their duty so well. So that's why we protested in the Delhi. The FAIMA organization protested in Delhi, and we put pressure on the central government, and then Supreme Court directed the CBI to investigate into the case. So I am just saying, why no political leader from, I am not saying the name of the party, but no political leader from that government that is running this state has not tweeted since that day for next 5 to 6 days. No tweet was there from any member of this party that is running that government. But I want to say this thing. After our pressure was created, I know Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee protested against the Home Minister Mamata Banerjee and the Health Minister Mamata Banerjee. Opposition was on roads and the government was also on roads. Then who will take the accountability of
the common theme they say was asking for justice. And everybody is in their rights and wants to demand justice, seek justice for this victim and her family. And that's exactly what the TMC was also doing when Mamata Banerjee hit the streets. But from what has happened in the Supreme Court, the fact that CISF is now at RG Corps, you've decided to call off your strike as well because of certain measures that have been put in place. The last 30 seconds, and I want to leave it at that. Are you happy with the measures that have been put in place? Would you have been happier if it wasn't the Supreme Court that had to force this and it was done organically by every state, by every hospital?
Yeah, basically Supreme Court, after the FAIMA delegation went to the Supreme Court by the advocate Tanvi Dubey, the FAIMA delegation, Dr. Risira Sinha was there, and Supreme Court directed the states to give their reply in the 2 weeks. And Supreme Court, I will read that statement that Supreme Court said to the statement, he directed all the states and the DGP of the police, kindly give the interim protection to the every doctor working in your state and give the review them after the 2 weeks. So Supreme Court has given the 2 weeks time to them. So basically we would have been more happy if the central government also would have responded us very well, because the health minister till now has not assured of anything and he has not given any appointment to us.
And
also.
that central protection law is a demand that is coming in from all quarters. In fact, unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. Nazrul Islam, I did see you have your hand up, but I do not have the time, sir. But thank you so much for all of you for joining us here on this broadcast and sharing your perspective. Slipping into a quick break here on this edition of The Right Stand. But on the other side, we have the big debate coming in from Tamil Nadu. We have another actor who's now jumped into the political ring. Is this Vijay's party? Is his flag unveiling? Is his mission statement that he made today? Is that going to be a blockbuster, or will that be a flop with voters? We'll decode that.
Evidence of whether Sanjay Roy alone was involved or not would be the DNA test. The DNA strands received from the body have been matched with Sanjay Roy. The CBI is non-committal whether it shows a 100% match, whether it shows that anybody else was present in that room. That question is open. But it looks like things are fast moving to a situation where Sanjay Roy's presence and his role in the crime is being established beyond doubt. Now, let me reveal a little more about what the experts have told the CBI after the psychological analysis. They say that A, there's no remorse, there's no sign of remorse that Sanjay Roy shows when he's asked about the crime or his involvement in it. B, the way he's talking seems to suggest a quote-unquote animal instinct. And C, that there is a sexually deviant or perverse behavior that he's showcasing. Now, Kolkata Police's investigation also in the initial days, if you recall, Kolkata Police had taken up this case and for 4 days they had, kept this case in their purview, within their investigative framework. Sanjay Roy was in their custody in no time. So, Kolkata Police, when they looked at his phone, also got to know, sources tell us, that there were various pornographic clips on his phone there. There are some local reports here in the Kolkata media which suggest that before the crime was committed on the morning and evening of 8th of August, Sanjay Roy visited the red light area, the Sonagachi area as well. CBI is not corroborating this, but there are local media reports based on conversations with various sources in that area which suggests that Sanjay Roy did go to the red light area and another aide of his accompanied. So together all this information seems to suggest that he was a sex maniac, and it also suggests that the victim perhaps fell prey to his sexually pervasive perverse behavior. And what is it that Sanjay Roy knows? He claims that what he's saying is the truth. However, CBI wants to also put him through a polygraph test, a lie detector test. It has not happened yet, even though the preliminary permission came 2 days ago, because no lawyer wants to represent him. A legal aid counsel has been assigned to him, but CBI is worried, it is concerned that given the allegations and given the public mood here in Kolkata, if Sanjay Roy is taken to a public place like the Sealdah court for the polygraph test procedure, for the polygraph test hearing, there could be a threat to his life and well-being. Therefore, it is likely that the Central Bureau of Investigation could move the Kolkata High Court seeking permission for a virtual hearing. This hearing will perhaps lead to Sanjay Roy giving his consent for the polygraph test. The polygraph test evidence is limited admissibility in a court of law, but it does give the investigating team crucial leads about what aspects of the crime the accused is lying, and then they can continue.
Welcome back. Tamil cinema and politics are said to be conjoined twins. Now another Tamil superstar makes his political intentions clear. After Vijay announced his party and speculation and anticipation over what his political debut is going to look like, now he's made it very clear what his mission is. Earlier today, actor Vijay unveiled the flag and anthem of his party TVK. He stated that the flag that features bands of red and yellow with two war elephants symbolizing people's force, a flower that represents victory. It holds a historic significance to be detailed out at the upcoming state conference, along with party principles and action plans that he has. The actor enjoys a massive fan base across Tamil Nadu and beyond. He made it clear that he intends to contest the 2026 Tamil Nadu Assembly elections, signaling his commitment to making a serious impact in the state's political arena. Now, while Vijay's party did not participate in the recently held Lok Sabha elections, where the DMK-led alliance emerged victorious, the launch of TVK is seen as a strategic move aimed at the upcoming elections. But will that be a blockbuster, or will he fizzle out like many other actor-turned-politicians in the state? All eyes will be on how Vijay positions himself, whether or not he can galvanize his fan base into a political force. Can he deliver that political blockbuster, or is this an already saturated field as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned?
நமது நாட்டின் விடுதலைக்காகவும் நமது மக்களின் உரிமைகளுக்காகவும் தமிழ் மண்ணிலிருந்து தீரத்துடன் போராடி உயிர் நீத்த எண்ணற்ற வீரர்களின் தியாகத்தை எப்போதும் போற்றுவேன். நமது அன்னை தமிழ் மொழியை காக்க உயிர் தியாகம் செய்த மொழிப்போர் தியாகிகளின் இலக்கை நிறைவேற்றும் வகையில் தொடர்ந்து பாடுபடுவேன். இந்திய அரசியலமைப்பு சட்டத்தின் மீதும் இறையாண்மை மீதும் நம்பிக்கை வைத்து அனைவருடன் ஒற்றுமை, சகோதரத்துவம், மத நல்லிணக்கம், சமத்துவம் ஆகியவற்றை பேணி காக்கின்ற பொறுப்புள்ள தனி மனிதராக செயல்படுவேன்.
Let me open this up. Vijay Madhuvanti, BJP leader from Tamil Nadu, joining us. Pulla Rao, senior journalist, author and analyst Suman C. Raman joins us as well. Let me get in the BJP first. Ms. Madhavanti, do you think the actor is going to get any sort of political backing, any sort of force that comes out of Tamil Nadu?
Good evening, Poonam, and good evening to my fellow panelists as well. There is a lot we have to wait and watch. Well, he has taken the plunge, and he has finally launched his flag and his symbol and all of that today. And it takes a lot of hard work to doing that, because it's not that easy to start a party. And then we have to wait and watch and see if this sustains. Now, that is something we'll have to see only based on how he fares in 2026, how his party is going to be formed. Is he going to have booth level cadres? Because just by having a fan following or a fan base, you can't win elections, not in today's day and age. So we need to wait and watch for many things. What his ideology is going to be, what is he going to say in that huge event that he is planning to conduct very soon. But right now he is going to be preoccupied with the release of his film, which is going to be happening in a matter of 10 days' time. So there is a lot we have to wait and watch. And you can't write it off. At the same time, you can't say that he's going to make a great impact either. There is a lot that we have to wait and watch.
A lot to wait and watch out for, especially given the track record. Sumansi Raman, we've seen several such actor-turned-politicians, Kamal Hassan being the most notable example perhaps, where you can't really convert your popularity as an actor or as a film star into what your political party would get.
Absolutely. And I think, as Madhavanti said, it's way too early. Right now, all we have is a flag, a pledge which sort of says makes all the right noises, which talks about secularism, being against caste inequities and being, faithful to the nation and upholding the cause of the Tamil people, the language. I mean, it's standard stuff. Every political party is saying the same thing, and of course anti-corruption. So all this is standard operating procedure of all political parties, which they put in their manifestos and so on. Now the point really is, today people were expecting that perhaps there would be a longer speech where he would possibly lay out at least which side of the political fence he stands on, what his ideologies are. Instead, we got all of about a 2.5, 3 minute or 5 minute speech where he said that, in due course, all these things would be told. So I think that the jury is still very much out on what kind of impact he is going to make. One thing we know for sure, that throughout the day, it's sort of been quite apparent that those from the ruling party seem to have been quite discomfited with his entry and the event which happened today. So we've had, sympathizers of the DMK, as it were, going hammer and tongs. There was the story that the BSP has now decided to challenge the flag because they have the elephant symbol. Then there's also the story that the car he came in actually had a fine pending on it. And then there was another story saying that the flower which he claims to have on the flag, that image is not that flower, it's actually another flower. Okay, so and of course there were the repeated videos of him sort of brushing aside his mother's hand and walking away. So I think that there's been a very judging by the opposition that that he has sort of seemed to have stirred up today, mostly from the ruling party's side. I think that they at least are getting a little nervous about his entry. They feel that potentially the DMK vote could take a little bit of a hit if Vijay actually manages to make an impact. But as I said, it's way too premature for us to actually put any firm predictions on this.
Pullara, is the DMK in an uncomfortable situation? I mean, whether or not the popularity translates into votes and then translates into seats, we don't know. But it's bound to eat away into someone's share. Is the DMK worried it's going to be theirs?
No, DMK is in power. Naturally, it will be worried when somebody new comes in. The formula, the algorithm, anything may be upset, naturally, because it's in power. But the other thing which I think is, he's a very brave man, to start a party in Tamil Nadu by himself. A lot of other brave men have backed away. Rajinikanth, And after a kind of feeble effort, even Kamal Hassan has backed away. So he's a very brave man. But as he is coming from the film world, and I've observed people from the film world, NTR, Chiranjeevi, and Pawan Kalyan, they're very shrewd, they know public pulse. They're next to politicians or more than politicians. They've always got their hand on the public pulse. Don't forget that. They know what the public thinks. They know how to appeal. I would imagine, to give him credit, that he's got 20, 25 years experience on the film world. Perhaps he has calculated all the risks also. Perhaps he feels that he may not win this time, that time. But one thing, to speak objectively, is that will he have the stamina? 2026, whether he wins, whether he loses, will he carry on? You see, Pawan Kalyan carried on. His brother Chiranjeevi warned of a shock after, he did very well in his election 2009. NTR gained one go, he came to power. So, the main thing is, will he have the stamina for the long trip? Or will he just say, now 2026, they voted for me, they didn't vote for me, bye-bye. So that characteristics of his, we have to see. That will be tested. And as I said at the beginning, or in some other places, there are 20 active parties in Tamil Nadu. Andhra has 3 main parties now, regional parties. Karnataka has 3. North Indian states, Madhya Pradesh and some of these North Indian states have 3 parties, 2 parties. Here, Tamil Nadu, I would say there are 20 active parties, 2 communist parties, regional parties, that party, Muslim party, or Hindu party. So therefore, it's very difficult to find space. But then again, a good product will always get shelf space. So we have to see, as my 2 friends have also said, time. But he's definitely a courageous man, to say I'm going to embark on this journey. Where there are mighty parties there who have been ruling from 1967, and before that, the Congress party. All of them are there. So what is his ambition? Who has advised him? Who are his advisors? Did they suddenly come out? I don't think that has come out to the open. Day by day, we'll come to know. But it's very, there's going to be a lot of interest all over the country. They've been talking about this because he is a superstar in that state. But he's courageous. And he faces a lot of obstacles. DMK has been there for nearly 75 years, I think, and in power from 67 off and on. They're established. Same thing with AIADMK till a little while ago. BJP and Congress are national parties. You see, just to run an office in a district is a very big task. It's a very expensive task. Just to run, it's not just like the old days where, 50, 60 years ago, Congress party and your Gandhi cap, that was enough. The whole world has changed. Politics has become corporatized, I think. So many things have to be done this way. So has he calculated all of this? I don't know.
But at whose expense would that calculation come to the fore? That's really the big question. And Madhuvati, the BJP is recently ally-less, so to say. At least a big ally of yours recently walked away. Are you foraging for new allies? Would that be something that you find in Vijay's party?
That's not for BJP to go look out for. It's for Vijay to look out for. BJP, like Mr. Pullarao rightly said, is a national party. We never asked anybody to leave. We never begged anybody to come back inside. People left on their own. People came back on their own. So we are not talking about going with a begging bowl and asking people for joining us as allies. We form strong ties, and that is what politics is all about. You might be an ally this time, but for the next election, the whole table will turn. We've seen that happen, haven't we? In Tamil Nadu and other states also. So all this again, I think, is a very, very premature stage to talk about whether Vijay is going to ally with BJP. We don't even know what the ideology is. So where is the alignment coming into the picture? So it's very, very premature. Like Mr. Raman rightly said, we just heard a 2-minute speech and a flag was hoisted. There's nothing else that has happened today other than the media and everybody going gaga goo about the whole thing the whole day, and rightly so, the ruling party getting slightly rattled about the fact that he has actually taken the plunge. Because until now everybody thought he's making an announcement and it's going to go with that. But he's actually launched a flag and given out a pledge and brought out his symbol. So he means business. But what it's going to turn into is something we all have to wait and watch.
Sure, but Sumansi Raman, given what's happening with the AIADMK, do you think that's a space that Vijay's party could look at? Because as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, over the last few years, the last few decades, we've seen this toss-up between the two dominant parties. But the AIADMK seems to now not be on as much as a strong footing as it was, or as a strong footing as the DMK seems to now be, especially post the 2024 elections. So is that the space that perhaps he could occupy?
No, it's very unlikely, because see, Vijay's fan base is predominantly, in the age group of those below 35. So from a voting perspective, you're talking of people between the age group of 18 and 35 who are, likely to be Vijay voters. The AIADMK voters typically, and to a large extent DMK voters also, tend to be slightly older, right? So there is a regional party called the NTK, or the Nam Tamilaga Vettri, which is Tamil Nationalist Party, and they have got a huge voter base of almost entirely of youth. So they will be hit quite hard by Vijay. The second party which could be hit hard is the DMK to some extent, because the sum of their minority voters could be wooed potentially by Vijay as well. So at the end of the day, it's going to be extremely difficult for us to predict. I think the next big event is going to be the party conference, which is scheduled to be held in a few weeks' time. And then hopefully we will understand what Vijay stands for, what are his programs and policies for Tamil Nadu. All of that needs to come out in the public domain. This is those days where an actor could come, wave at the audience from a balcony and win. That is history now. I mean, Tamil Nadu. Look, nobody in Tamil Nadu, not MGR, not Jayalalitha, won just because they were actors. MGR was in politics for 15 years before he became chief minister. Jayalalitha was in politics for 10, 12 years before she became a chief minister. So this whole argument that you're a movie star, you have lots of fans, you come and make an appearance and everybody votes for you. Sorry, it has never happened in Tamil Nadu. MGR was a member of the DMK for 15 years before he actually broke out on his own, formed his own party, and then came to power. So this whole argument that movie stars, Tamil Nadu will immediately vote for them, it doesn't work.
Also, whether he manages to keep that steam, 2026 is still far away. That's one of the things that we'll have to watch out for. I have to leave it at that. I thank you all for joining us here on this broadcast. Of course, we'll keep tracking the developments as they take place in the run-up to the Tamil Nadu elections. Before now, we are shifting focus, and this is concerning India's crackdown on terror. Today, the Special Cell of Delhi Police busted an Al-Qaeda inspired terror cell that was planning to execute terror activities within the country. According to exclusive inputs by CNN News 18's Manoj Gupta, sources within the intelligence agencies, we've now found out that Delhi police dismantled this terror cell. It was a joint operation with the state police forces of Jharkhand, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. There were 14 individuals that are now being looked at, 6 are from Rajasthan, 7 from Jharkhand, 1 from Uttar Pradesh. They've all been detained for allegedly their link to a certain group, which seems to be inspired by the Al-Qaeda module. As per reports, the mastermind of this entire group was trained by Abdul Rahman Katki, who was arrested in 2015 and arrested in an Al-Qaeda ISIS case. He's presently in jail. Abdul Rahman Katki was a close associate of 2611 Mumbai attack mastermind Abdul Rahman Lakhvi. There is also a connection as far as who this mastermind is. He is an AIMS radiologist. He is believed to have masterminded this group of 14 people, radicalized them and tried to whip up the sentiment of carrying out terror activities across the country. He is an MBBS and MD radiologist. He's running a clinic in Ranchi. He was reportedly preparing to execute a series of high-profile terror activities that were aimed at what they claim establishing a khilafat within India. They were connected on secure platforms, mostly on telegrams or Signal. They wanted to create an AI sham in the outskirts of Ranchi where they wanted to impose the Sharia law, or that's what they thought was their intent. They were also in the process of developing their capacity to fabricate weapons. This is what we've learned. But a shot on the arm, of course, coming in for India's fight against terror with the arrest of these 14 people. The bigger nexus, of course, will be probed. But this is not the only exclusive news break that we have for you here on The Right Stand. As far as China is concerned, India has to be wary of both what's happening on our borders and otherwise. China's growing footprint in Afghanistan are also concerning. As per exclusive inputs by Manoj Gupta, China may soon become a major concern not just for India but for the world, because Beijing looks to harness its business interests in Kabul as far as connectivity, security and access to natural resources is concerned. They've been shunned globally since Taliban's takeover, but Afghanistan has been struggling for finance ever since. Though the country gets aid from the United Nations every week, the fragile economic situation and fight on terror needs more support from the world community. Is China that friend? Is China now warming up to Taliban? That's what we're trying to get in. China wants to increase its footprint in Afghanistan. They've recently hosted the Afghan ambassador in Beijing. Remember, China is the only country that shows any interest in Afghanistan. China has urged the Taliban and Pakistan to settle this TTP issue. As far as improving ties between China and Afghanistan is concerned, that is a worry, not just for India, like I said, but for the entire world. And everyone needs to look closely, watch these developments very closely and see where they go. Now, why exactly does China need Afghanistan? Chinese interests as far as Afghanistan are concerned are mainly business related. They want to focus on connectivity and on security. China is aiming to access Afghanistan's natural resources. They want the Taliban to continue with the 2016 BRI Pact. It also ensures safety of Chinese workers in Afghanistan. Remember, several Chinese workers bordering areas of Pakistan and Afghanistan have come under attack. All those employees who've been working as far as the BRI project goes. Good Pakistan-Afghanistan ties works well in China's favor. There's zero hindrance as far as the CPEC is concerned. Now, China and Afghanistan are trying to foster this newfound relationship. In January 2023, Taliban signed a $540 million contract to extract oil through the Amu Darya Basin. In April 2023, a Chinese company showed interest in investing $10 billion in lithium and other rare earth minerals in the country. The year before that, in November 2022, China revived the Pine Nut Air Corridor, resulting in exports of over 1,000 tons to Beijing. And in December 2022, China implemented zero tariffs on 98% Afghan products. Now let's tell you why Kabul needs Beijing. Apart from the obvious reasons, Afghanistan, of course, is trying hard to get money from all sources, from wherever they can get so. They are, of course, getting UN aid, like I pointed out, to do regular business, but that's not enough. They do need the support of the world community. Afghanistan is also facing a weak economic situation. Money was frozen by the United States after Taliban's takeover. Kabul finally got some relief from Beijing, and majority of these investments were made by China. They are even considered only by China, which is why this friendship seems like the likely one, allies as they could be. But that's something that the world should be wary of, world should be concerned of, and India, of course, is closely monitoring all those developments. On that note, it's a wrap from my side. Brass Tacks coming up next.
Probe or delve deeper to know the truth. So for now, it looks like Sanjay Roy is definitely the center of CBI's investigation in the Kolkata rape and murder case. Was Sanjay Roy a habitual sex offender? The main accused arrested in the Kolkata doctor rape and murder case is under the scanner for alleged perverted sexual behavior. He was put through a psychological analysis by the Central Bureau of Investigation. A special team was flown in from Delhi. There were experts who subjected him to psychological analysis, and at the end of that, it seems the experts have come to conclusion that Sanjay Roy shows no remorse while recreating or narrating the scene of crime and the crime that actually happened on the midnight of 8th and 9th of August. The body was discovered on the morning of 9th of August. A post-mortem was carried out. That post-mortem report finding and the psychological analysis is turning out to be key evidence for the Central Bureau of Investigation. Of course, the scientific